G'day everyone, Ron back here from Tasmanian Sea Change again. Now, I've been down the back here in areas where I haven't been able to actually get in and mow when I was actually doing the hay baling and all that sort of stuff, because there are areas here that I've still got in the yard that are covered in broom. Because this stuff is, well, some of it's quite thick. This is still only young stuff. I did have all the block completely mowed down at one stage, but you know, life gets ahead of you sometimes and you can only do what you can do. But this stuff here is stuff that I've had to remove, and I've still got quite a bit of it across the property. As you can see here, the flail mower has been across this. Now this stuff in through here was easily, you know, over 6 feet plus tall, and some of it was as tall as the tractor. It's canopy basically. Now going through with the flail mower, you can't just do it at ground level. I'm sure you would have seen, or some people would have seen, various different implements on tractors and earth moving equipment that comes in and chews up big trees and stumps and all that that's on the ground on a machine or a tractor far larger than mine. They actually used one next door on a bobcat. It actually had tracks and it was chewing up stumps yay big with huge amounts of foliage. It was actually a big slasher type variety, but the ones you may also see look very similar to a flail mower, but they're not. They're actually forestry mulchers, and you generally need a considerably large amount more horsepower than my 55 horsepower tractor there. But you come through and you mow it at different levels as it goes through. You can't just walk in, or should I say drive in and just take it out completely. Not with a tractor of my size and not with a flail mower or the wrong implement and the wrong tool to do and attack the job properly. But taking it down a level at a time helps a great deal. You've got to go through there slowly. I've got to go through a couple times more and take the rest of this off and down to the point where we nearly have it at ground level. Sometimes you've got to let it dry a little bit because of the amount of moisture in here. It does work better when it's a lot drier. It just sort of shatters a bit more. One good thing about this, and it's the only good thing about this, the broom itself, is that it's basically a legume of a description, and it actually leaves nitrogen back in the ground. As a catch-22, you basically can't grow much more in the area when you've got this stuff sort of growing as well. So I'm getting rid of it so I can turn it all back into a grassed area. I'll take you over to the wood pile. Now this is the area where all the pepperberry trees were all piled up when I bought the block. I added some to it, but the pile itself is probably 30-40 feet across, and at one stage there the pile was well in excess of 6 to 8 feet tall. With some of the branches and leftover stumps and whatnot that are scattered through here, you've got quite a lot of material. Now, I have been running it over with the flail mower. There are still a few branches and that are still quite reasonable, but the sheer volume of them wasn't worthwhile picking up. Some of these in excess of, 3 to 4 inches plus. I was putting a lot of it through the mulcher, but some of the stuff like these branches or stump here, it literally just falls apart. So when you put it into the mulcher, when it's a bit too wet, it literally just chokes the mulcher up. So there are certain bits I couldn't do much with, and I didn't particularly want to burn it all. I mean, it's not that the ash and the charcoal's not good for the paddock as well, but I'd rather all the organic material to go back into the ground. And again, I also have to level this area all back up and that as well. So you'll see me go over some of this stuff here with the flail mower again. You've got to be mindful. It's a tractor tire, not like a bobcat where it's a tracked bobcat. You don't sort of have too many dramas and hassles with those sorts of things when it comes to punctures, but you do with these. So I've got this area to do, and I've been cleaning up a lot of the broom and that out the back there. It's taken me quite a while to do it because I couldn't cut it all in one go. I had to cut it down in levels. Unlike a slasher, or I think over in the States they call them bush hogs. They're just a slasher here. They leave long rows of material that's mounded up. With the flail mower, especially for fire reduction, and it takes it right down and into a lot more finer particles, not so much long pieces of material that would be really long. It helps for putting the organic material back into the ground, and it does actually help when it comes down to fire prevention and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm not going to bore you to death. No rest for the wicked, I better get into it. Bye.